Hello and welcome to this training video which will show you how to produce labels using mail merge in Microsoft Word. The question usually looks something like that, where we need to produce labels from all the data in the file. In this case, the file is an Excel file and it's called recipient list. I have placed it on my desktop. The page will be of a portrait orientation. It will have two labels side by side. We will show only the records where title is miss, show all the fields as per this line, and we want to add the name, center number, and candidate number on the left of every label. I'm going to leave this question for reference if we need to come back to it. And just take a look at the Excel file, which looks like that. This is my Excel file. It has some names, addresses, cities, and states of some people. We are going to produce labels of this data in a Word file. I need this file closed to start the merging process. Here's my Microsoft Word blank document that I had already opened. To start off mail merge, we need to click on the Mailings tab, move over to Start Mail Merge, and at the very bottom it says Step-by-Step Mail Merge Wizard. I click on that. In here I need to choose Labels as I'm making labels. Start the document. As you can see, it's a 6-step process. We're on the first step. This is the second step called select the recipients. Before I do that, I need to choose the label options, because remember the question said two side by side. So in here, I need to choose label options, and the best label that I have seen that is so generic is the Microsoft. The second one there, which is actually a portrait. If I click on this, I would know from these measurements that this is a portrait. If I click on the first one and I choose details, it's going to be landscape, as you can see. So I'm going to choose the second one, click OK on that one. I'm going to minimize this a little bit so you can see what's happening. You don't really see anything there, but there is a table in there that doesn't have any borders. For me to explain this to you a lot better, I'm just going to show these borders. And as I select the whole document, you will actually start realizing that this is a table. Okay, so I select all of this. I move over to the Home tab, and under the borders there I choose Show All Borders. Then you can see that it is actually a table. So in that table, I just need two side by side. The two side by side, I'm going to get rid of this small one, this column that is supposed to separate the first and the third column. I'm going to right click on it, delete columns. I'm going to do the same to this one, select it, so I place the mouse above it, select. Now I'm going to do right click again and delete that one. I'm also going to delete the last one with the same idea, right click, delete columns. I'm going to extend the second column to fit the whole page. Then I'm going to select both of them, right click, distribute columns evenly. So here's how it's going to look. It took me about 30 seconds or a bit more, but this is what we want. Now I'm going to choose select recipients list. This is where I'm actually going to choose where am I getting my data from. In this case, it's going to be on the desktop. The file is called recipient list. Click open, click OK. It only has one sheet. Here's my data. Remember, there was one more thing in there. It said shows only the records where title is miss. So I have title. I click on this. I just choose miss, and I'm only going to see miss. I'm going to make this a little bit bigger to show you some other filtering that we can do. The question might also ask, the title is miss and the person is from Illinois. So I can go under state, and then I could choose Illinois, and that will only give me one. Okay, so I could do filtering on more than one column heading or on more than one column. By the way, I just showed you. After I do this, I'm going to click OK. Just before that, sometimes they will ask you, the examiner or the question paper will say, take a screenshot of how you did the filtering. Well, you just screenshot this and save it in your document. If that is going to be the case, I'm just going to screenshot, go open another Microsoft Word file. It's not going to do it because this is open. So I'm going to click OK. Then it's going to open. I'm going to paste. And then I can do some cropping here. I'll do this quickly. This is my first screenshot, which actually shows the examiner that you have done it properly. Okay, I go back to my other file and I do edit recipient list. This is where we were just now. So I'm doing it just to go back to the same spot we were at. I click OK. Then I'm going to do arrange your labels. In the arranging labels, the top left label is going to include all the names that I need. These are under more items. So I click on more items. I'm just going to double click each one of them. And as I double click, you notice that it moves there. You could technically click on this and then insert, but I find it faster to just double click, which is doing the same thing. Double click, close. Now, when I see this label, we do not want all this data on one line. It had to make sense. It has to make sense. So title, space, last name, space, first name, space, and I hit enter. Okay, so I get this on another line. Address, I hit enter. City, comma, state, and I'm done. So everything is on a separate line. Now, the very last thing is this question where it said my information, the information of the student who's doing this paper, and that's going to be your name. In this case, I'm putting in mine, AE093 STD111. You've got to be careful. If I don't see perfectly here, I have got to do something about it. We'll come to that in a second. The next thing I'm going to do is update all fields, all labels. And when this happens, you realize, or you can see that all the labels in this have been updated appropriately. Okay, if I click the next one, which is preview your labels, it's actually going to get the data from the file and put them in here. Okay, we need 2 screenshots here, or actually we need 2 printouts. One which shows the master document, and I would recommend that you make this a little bit bigger so it's obvious. If it can't be seen, you must make it be seen. Okay, so after this happens, I'm going to take a screenshot, go back to my file if you remember it, and I'm going to paste that next screenshot which is there. They're not in order. I can just do text wrapping to kind of move one in front of the other, and then I can do some more cropping to actually just see the necessary information that are needed and nothing more. Okay, so this is my other screenshot, which looks like this. Again, this is the master document. I go back to my other labels, to the labels document. I click preview your labels, complete the merge. You realize I'm already at 6 of 6. If I do edit individual labels and I click OK, it's going to give me another file called labels1, which has this data in it. You realize that this is not very visible. So I need to click and drag it down to become visible. Again, because what Word does, Word produces one full page of these labels, but I only have 4. So what did it give me? It gave me about so many of them extra that I don't need. So what do? I select them all the rows that are blank, right click and hit delete rows. This is how it would look. I might need to make this a little bit bigger depending on the amount of data. I just extend the bottom one, then select the whole thing, all the rows. I right click, distribute rows evenly. Remember, the lines were not there. I did it just to show you, so you don't have to do this in the exam if you know what you're doing. I select this, and then I go back to my table borders, and I say no border. This is how it would look. Can you see that my name was in each and every one of them? I hope this training video was beneficial and you benefited on how to do the mail merge, and hopefully you will see me in my next video.